All right. Hello. Let's see if Droid Cam is working. Oh my god, it is. Oh, well, I forgot to turn off the backup, so we'll do that. There we go. And I didn't, despite meaning to, I didn't actually run through my. Oh, that's fine. Hello, hello. Oh, goodness. I just had some dinner, letting my brain turn back on. Hello. We'll switch back to here. I probably should raise that camera up some more because I can't point it down anymore. Well, I kind of can. Oh, goodness. Yes, ESP. Oh yeah, they are over there. But my phone is blooping a bunch. Let us find out why. Oh. Cool. We got Otto over there. Maddie's inside. So my wife has work off today, so she's inside taking a nice rest. A nice, well-deserved rest. Yes, Empire Gauntlets. I got Tom's Empire Gauntlets, Dan's jetpack. Those are kind of the primary goals for today. I've been experimenting with different blues for the jetpack. I've got a whole stack of various cards there. But we can start off with the gauntlets because they need some stuff on the computer. I made a new little template thingy. So let's. I need to get it sized so I can use it. For the weird little scratch on the side. All right, turn you on. All right, so we got the Empire Gauntlet here. We're gonna Boba Fett ESB reference to streaming and paint by part. Left gauntlet, no, right gauntlet. Right gauntlet ESB. And I'm gonna approximate how big this scratch is. Probably about 40 wide would be my guess. So we're gonna open up right gauntlet nib. And I just made you somewhere. What did I do with that file? I can ignore that. Oh, I think that's in vinyl cutting. Boba Fett, right gauntlet, this, and then we're gonna do 40 millimeters, 2 inches, 1.5-ish. So we're gonna do a 1.5, 1.6, not 16, 1.6, and a 0.75. Let's see which one of those looks the most right. Onward. Well, that cut quick. Cool. Yoink. Oh, it also cut completely wrong. What happened there? I was not paying attention. Why did it cut so not where it's supposed to? Oh, I don't have the whoopsie cutting mat auto. There we go. We'll just move them over here then. Send. Whoopsie do. Okay, there we go. Jetpack paints. Yes. I have been working on finding the right shade of blue for the jetpack. Or finding a better shade. Not that what I was using before was bad, but with ArchiveX retiring that color, I figured now was a good time to mix up my own. I made a little stencil for that weird chip on the side. I'm trying to get the sizing right. That's not bad. That's not bad. That was the middle one. What about the bigger one? That's a little too big. Let's go back to this one. Not that there is a single good freaking shot of this. Like, this is what I have to work with. So anything I do is going to be close enough. Because we're never going to probably know any better. Ever. But I still want to get it close. As close as humanly possible with a reference image that has 12 pixels. Tis is the fet life. But that middle one seems pretty okay. So I'm going with that. Otto, you got your whole big belly out. You got your whole fat belly out. Bloop, 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 bloop. You gotta tickle the dog belly. It's just how it works. Come on. Okay. The image is what mirrored, huh? Oh. Oh, wait, what? I mirrored? Am I mirrored? Oh my god, I am mirrored. Huh, what do you know? Never noticed. Is it going to be flip vertically? Oh, now I'm upside down. Oh. It has a flip. I have a flip vertically option, but I didn't readily available see flip horizontal. Okay. I'm gonna do that. And that brings me 7. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mm, mm, no, no more mixing for today. Okay, that's going. And I need my reference photo back up. And that's probably the right spacing, but we're gonna do ESB. Paint the port. Right, gauntlet. And yeah, that should be good. And it's kind of up on the edge a little bit. Just a hair. Good. And then I will just brush on my silver from there. And I also need to do the bottom section, which I also have a thing for because the silver just looks so much better because they would just haphazardly applied it on. So when you're able to haphazardly apply it on with a stencil, it ends up looking a lot smoother and cleaner. And just overall looks a lot better. Um, come on. That was really on there for some reason. Okay. Trash, trash, trash. Trash, trash, trash. All of you is trash. Okay. So now I need okay, we're gonna close out of that. We're gonna do so you already have all of your silver done. Correct? Correct. Yes, you're done with silver. So you just need silver. So that means I need to get my can, because I use enamel silver because it works much better for Empire. Get that bright, weird sheen. And then we'll get a cup with some mineral spirits. And brushes. Paint brushes. You and you. Why does my phone keep going off every 5 freaking seconds? Gauntlets and jetpack will be today's main focus. And now we take this over here. So we've got that weird, see with the enamel paint, you really get that weird shine on Empire where like if the light hits it just right, you like don't see it. But then when it hits it, it shines right back at you real hard. And now we're gonna bring all this over. I don't have a paper towel over here, dang it. Got too much paint on the brush. It almost needs like a dry brushing effect for Empire for where it gets really really drawn out. Just want a little bit on the brush. And gotta do the sides. And then this one also gets the Lark Dark for some reason. This side pretty much gets this entire upper edge. Plus a little up here, and that. And that all the way down. And the plug block also gets some kind of hard to decipher dry brushing of some sort. There's really no good picture of it in the right lighting to really tell what you're looking at. There's definitely something on it, but some of it almost looks like white chipping, which is possible. But it's also incredibly hard to even tell what the silver is because everything's lit so freaking poorly. But we finally have enough reference shots that you can kind of get a decent idea of where things are, at least. Okay. This giant can of silver is like, at this point, probably like 6 years old. It's gonna take me forever to go through it. I used to blast it through the airbrush when I did primarily enamel paints. But now that I don't, it does not get as much use. Otto's just asleep outside in the grass. All right. Good. Almost. The less brush strokes, the better. With the majority of the Empire paint job, since they would not be sitting here trying to match something perfectly. They just very quickly. Very pleased with how this gauntlet is turning out, though. Oh, it's better than the one I've got in the display case over there. And as far as anyone can tell, there's no lark on this side, but realistically, there should be at least a little bit. Since they have it on all the other chips on this gauntlet, it should have a little something. Okay. Now I just need to brush on the red button. Which is DH Cabos. Oh, that is very thick paint. Let that dry. Touch up these darts a little. And it needs its it's a hot glue spider web. It just needs its final wash and wire and alco switches. There we go. That's the word I was trying to think of. Just gonna let all that dry for a little bit. And put this over here too. Right. What is Otto doing out there? Oh, she must have taken her bone. She likes eating her bone in the sun. Out in the meadow. Must be. Hello. You and Empire, Boba Empire Gauntlets and Boba Jedi Jetpack is the primary goals of today. And maybe some sorcery stuff if I am able to. Because I need to catch up on some orders there too. You and you. art, oh my goodness, I'm too dyslexic for all these words. Futzing with art fight junk. Art fight? What is art fight? Okay. Oh, uh-huh. I see. It is wholesome fighting. Okay. So we're gonna put that over there, and then we're gonna do close out of that. Close out of that. Right, I wanted to measure. I've never actually taken the time to measure where these I did not do my inhaler this morning, and it's starting to show. Never actually measured where these rivets are. I always just eyeball it. What? Hold on, catching up with some. Do your drugs. Well, if I do my drugs now, I'm gonna have a coughing fit. Because if it makes me cough a little bit while it's settling into my lungs, and hello. Yeah, I got a coughing situation going. And I think it's allergies. But I've got it pretty much under control as long as I remember to take all my medicine when I'm supposed to, which I usually do. But this morning was a bit different because Otto woke me up needing to go to the bathroom several times, and I had to get up early to cut the grass so I didn't get friggin' heat stroke. And I just forgot with all of that. Okay, Jedi, yes, focus, Sophie, focus. Jedi reference. Because we have the placement of the 1, but I need picture of, there should be a pretty good one in ASOW of the jetpack right on, so I can actually like properly measure the placement of these and get a little extra autistic. This will work if I can't find a higher res one. That one's a little better. Okay, so we're going to open up Photoshop. We're going to copy that. New. Okay, it's doing this thing. Photoshop used to be really good about automatically sizing things to your clipboard, and something they've done in shitification has like completely broken that feature. It was such a nice feature. Okay, so I want this the full height of the top here. Image crop, image size, image inches. Now I need to measure. And you are 8.5. Okay. Height 8.5%, 180. And then we undo image size, percent 180. I am, well, now I'm doing a Jedi jetpack. The ESP gauntlets are drying. I'll probably get back to them later. But image crop. So now we're going to do, okay. Line from here, right in the middle to the bottom, is 2 inches. Okay. 2 inch. Which desktop am I? Okay, yeah, I can do that. So that's a 2 inch. I don't know why I'm in times. Let's get a little fun. And then from this one to the bottom is 4.25. And you are 0.625. 0.625 inch. Oh, yoink. And you are 0.56, so 0.5. 0.55, sure. And let's double check the size of the 0.18. Those little rivets that are on the white part of the jetpack. Jetpack Jedi. Rivet distance. This just gives me, it's not really possible to be exactly 1-to-1 with this kind of measuring, but it gives me a much better idea than just eyeballing it. So I've always just eyeballed it in the past, and it's gotten, you know, I've always been, there's never been any issues, but I figure I might as well take the time to actually measure it out much better. Where's my calipers? Here they are. Okay, so we're gonna go inches. .625. Which is here. And then get a roller and go up 2 inches, keeping it, well, I guess it would make more sense to do it like this, since that's where I measured. 2 inches from the bottom. So right here will be the 1 rivet. And then 4.25 and 0.55. .25. Slightly off from the other one. And then a 0.18 diameter, roughly, pop rivet. What do I have in here? Again, this is always something I've just eyeballed. Tart. How did yay become tart? How does that happen? All right, this is pretty much what you're gonna get. And drill bits. 1/8. Okay, that's great. That's usually what I do. And cool. And the bottom rivet, right, gets painted white. Oh. Or do either of them get painted white? See, no matter how many times I paint these things, this is why I always have to have my reference material easily accessible, because there's so many details that just like off the top of my head, it's so easy to forget them. Yeah, neither of them get painted white because they were added after. Duh. They were added way after painting. Just the top one gets like a weird layer of epoxy or something, because ILM loved smothering that brown Jesus Christ, that brown epoxy on frickin' everything. Okay, this is where my rivet gun is. Oh, still has a pop rivet in it. Okay, Can you come out, please? Please and thank you. Okay. Oh, goodness. That does not want to go in there. I need a slightly bigger hole than 1/8. 9/64, right? Yeah, that's the next step up. I would love to know what these actually were for, because they were added, so they clearly were holding something on in the backside. But what? That's what I would like to know. And we'll never know. Unless someone can get me into the archives for me to look for myself. Pop rivets in. Incredibly accurate positioning. And I only scuffed the white a little bit. Oh, it just rubs off. That's cool. Okay. They probably used a pneumatic wand that what you would have more control with, but who's got money for a pneumatic pop riveter? Okay, so now I tape off these white sections for them to continue to be taped off for a very long time. Hello. Get in a slightly better. I'm also going to move out of the way of my air conditioning unit because it's on full fucking blast and it's really cold right in front of it. There we go. Solutions. Okay. I would assume that Mario just taped over the whiteness of the Super Trooper and didn't bother to actually paint it white. Do. But this jetpack is going to be going to be part of a 501st Infamous submission. So I need to make sure that everything is super, super to their standards. I don't particularly think they're right on everything, but which is one reason why I never submitted. Joining the 501st Basic is so much easier because it's just up to your local GML. And they, like, the stereotypical 501st is super hard to get in can be true if your 501st GML has extensive knowledge about the costume you're applying with. Or is just particularly picky. But like the majority don't know a lot of complex costumes. And it's so much easier around here, at least, to get into the 501st than it is the Mercs with canon or non-canon costume. Per everyone I know that has a costume in both. For the most part, your local GML, if you provide evidence that something on the CRL is wrong, then they'll accept it. But level 2 Infamous is judged by the Bounty Hunters Guild, by their set of rules, and you can challenge them on stuff, but they're not usually gonna care. And I say this as someone on the Bounty Hunters Guild that was recently invited to help with the CRLs. I know the people that I am in with, and if it was up to me, I would be changing a lot, but that's not up to me. It's not my position. But at least now I can try and defend people that I think should be in Infamous. But yeah, 501st, your local club does not care like the reputation says that they care. The reputation comes from the few GMLs that really, really take their job seriously, and the elitist assholes who force their opinion on people's costumes where it's not warranted. And detachments. All detachments are like that, because the detachment leaders are the people that, you know, that's their costumes. That's what they know. But ultimately, they don't have power other than make the CRL. If a GML comes to the Bounty Hunters Guild or any guild for advice on improving a costume, they can just ignore what the detachment says. You can offer your suggestions, but they ultimately could just ignore you if they want to. Oh, does Infamous need the frickin'... I just realized that. What does their CRL say? Would you be... You'd be Ohio Garrison. I don't know who our GML... I don't know him too close, but he seems nice and chill. Level 2, vertically aligned rivets in the white section. New lettering is hand painted. The left outside thruster greebly is missing. See, it was fixed for filming. Thankfully, I am in the position now. And one reason I took this position is because I now have the power to fix these things on the CRL. I still have to present my case and like convince them that I'm right, but I have that power. Which there are a few little things that definitely need adjusting in here. Like the left outside thruster greebly is missing. Sometimes, yes, that is true. There are times when it's missing, but by the time they were filming with it, they fixed that. Jetpack collar, thruster greebly are... Oh. I gotta hit up PayPal here. I gotta see what I didn't realize they wanted a metal collar despite it very obviously not being a metal collar. That, I've got to change that. You can very clearly tell it's resin for Hero. What is in my... I need to look back on some of these. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see if PayPal search actually... Oh my god, it's actually... Wait, no, it didn't find, yes, it did. Cast, paint up, machine craft parts. Can you show me what I typed, please? I want the full invoice, please. I hate PayPal. What did I... Daniel. Oh my God, it doesn't show up. Okay, fine. We'll just have to look at... Oh, right, because it defaults to that. There we go. Nope, that's still not the right one. Who's partially paid in here? You. Full set of metal machine craft parts, 196. So yeah, that should include the collar at that price. Jetpack clip set, full metal fet. Oh, I gotta no, I already put that on. Duh. Oh my God. Then there's the dental file, jetpack. Okay. Stabilizer, yeah. Jetpack is supported jetpack is secured to the harness, white metal via metal hooks that attach to the body. Harness the shoulder, we go, blah, blah. Okay. So what? It's so dumb that he requires a freaking jetpack collar to be. I'm gonna fight him on that. I don't like that. Okay. Oh my goodness. So you... Yes, okay. That's that. That's not what I want. Do I not have a stabilizer in here? Mother fricker. Okay. I got plenty of those. I don't have a stabilizer. I mean, that's fine. Oh, it's right there. It's with this one. I guess I packaged them up like that. Okay. So then there's all that and this piece. Beautiful piece. Very much not metal on Jedi, but any noticeable added SE damage closely matches. Why would you? Oh, stupid. I don't want return of. I want the original. Not that it's probably going to be any different. Oh, yeah, accurate order replica based on the version being presented. Jetpack is for accurate hooks. Jetpack collar, beacon, and outside thruster. There are 2 vertically aligned. Details, greeblies, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you still want a metal collar for level 2. Boo, boo, boo. It's fine. Okay, well, it's just so very clearly not metal. Can you tell I'm frustrated about that? The thrusters haven't even been made yet, so I'm not worrying about that. But they will be joining their pals, aka what they're going to be assembled into, down here. Okay. Right. How did you get... Oh, it's the flashing. Okay. Yeah. And I guess I will include the parts that have fallen off because I have no need for an extra thruster greebly. Oh, let's see. Let's go to Jedi promo. Wait, where did he even come up with it having only one thruster greebly? Where would he have even gotten that from? Accurate connectors on the back of the base of the jetpack. He also wants that. That's not visible. Okay. Well, those will be printed. Unless he wants to sport out for real ones. Oh, he probably wait, connectors on the back at the base. So that would be the yeah, okay. There's a lot of details of the Jedi jetpack. It is a beast. Any black lettering seen on the pack is hand painted. It was drawn on with Sharpie. Does that technically count as hand painted? Hand drawn? Oh my god, it is one of my least favorite things. It's such a long process to make one of these. I have gotten very good at Jedi in general, but it is a thing. Okay. Oh. He's also got the ESB. Yeah, so I went with Jedi because I really like the colors more. I like the I like the multicolor. Initially, I also went with Jedi because I wouldn't have to buy the sidearm and the holster, which at the time were extremely expensive because like no one was making them. And then a few years later, there's quite a few people making them, and now no one's making them again. I think Boba Maker's like the only one. But I also was going to paint everything myself from the beginning. If you're not doing the painting, then the cost savings of the sidearm does not justify doing Jedi instead. So, you know, it's a thing. You could hang the jetpack on like the handles. That'd be fun. All because it's based on Pre-Prod 1, which is why it has such fun colors. The theory as to why Empire is so lame in that regard is that in the because we have the Pre-Prod 3 photos, and the Pre-Prod 3 photos, they're just using the Pre-Prod 1 jetpack and gauntlets again, and the Pre-Prod 3 armor is nearly identical to Empire. So the theory is that the original plan was to use those gauntlets again, and is to use that gauntlet and jetpack again, but then either when they showed up to set or when they were about to film, they didn't have that jetpack and that gauntlet set in the UK or the US, whichever one was first, I can't remember. And so they just grabbed another set of Super Trooper stuff and just quickly threw some paint on it. Or the director, whose name escapes me, I something, didn't like the extra colors that George liked, and Joe liked. Who knows? The holster, the pulse. Do you have a real pulse? What is my printed? This is 3D printed pulse. Where's my pulse weigh? I weighs just under a pound for a 3D printed. I have not actually, I've never had a real pulse. I really want a real pulse, but they are expensive because they are rare. But I would love a real pulse. That would be so cool. Okay, back to this. Order of operations here should be, I'll do the red, right? Yeah. I'm just gonna print out a picture of the, it's dumb. I should have it all in my head, but it just, having a picture of the jetpack, even the CRL jetpack, just so I can visualize what's happening. Bondo, okay, so yes, you absolutely could with Bondo. I've done it before. However, I would highly recommend something like this. I don't know what they have your version of in Canada. It is essentially an epoxy putty. This is from the plumbing aisle. It's plumber's epoxy, and it's used to like go around pipes and stuff to stop leaks. Usually in the adhesive aisle, you can find the exact same thing for half the size and double the price because it also is an adhesive. And so another company was like, hey, we could sell that as an adhesive. But this stuff, you just cut off what you knead it together, and then it sticks really well to whatever you put on. It cures in like 5 minutes, or it hardens in like 5 minutes and fully cures in like 6 hours or something. And then you can just sand it like normal. I always have sticks of that stuff on hand. Plumber's epoxy, epoxy putty, whatever you can find it as. It is it is my go-to material whenever I mess something up. If I trim a vacuum shell too short, or I drill a hole in the wrong place in literally any material, I use that. It sands beautifully. You can't even tell it's there. A lot of times when I'm doing like the boba darts, if I accidentally cut too much out, I will just put the boba dart in there, put a bunch of plumber's epoxy in the excess of the hole, pop it out, and then sand it down smooth. I have used my knowledge. I beg you. I have so much. This brain is full of 10 years of doing this bullcrap. And I am not a gatekeeper for knowledge. But yes, super easy fix. You also, another option would be Milliput. It is the exact same thing, but it's made more for sculpting, so it dries significantly slower. But independent hobby stores usually have it. You can get it on Amazon a lot easier. It's a little bit more expensive for what it is, but it'll achieve the exact same desired effect. You will have much longer to work with it. That's actually what I used on this jetpack to fix where I had sanded in too far and made these made the cylinders too narrow, and I just built it back out with Milliput. So that way I had more time to work with it. Otto's back inside and snoring. Yeah, Milliput's good stuff too. And there's 3 different versions. For your purposes, it does not matter. There's standard, there's black, there's super white, there's gray, and apparently the difference is some of them you can sculpt in finer details if that's what you're after, and the drying time varies slightly. But for fixing a helmet like that, and honestly, unless you're doing like actual sculpting on like little figures, in my experience, it does not matter which one you get, just whatever's cheapest. I really wish I knew what order Mario sprayed in, because he definitely did not have enough time to like actually mask all of this out. Okay, so now I need to pull up reference material from the time period to see what's white damage. I don't print packs. This is a fiberglass cast from Seven Cat Studios, which I now have the molds for. Well, he's still has a few more things to send. But they are fiberglass. Hi, Maddie. Welcome in. So they're hollow on the inside, super lightweight. This whole thing, Maddie, get off! This whole thing weighs, the dogs. Like I think the bodies are usually around 5 pounds, if that. Without all the, yeah, this is just under 4 pounds. For just the body. It's the lightest and strongest way that you're gonna, because you cannot print a jetpack that light and be as strong as it is. And the originals were fiberglass, so that's usually what FET people want anyway. It is significantly more work on my end, but you also, you don't have to sand print lines and stuff. So that's the other benefit of buying a fiberglass one is you get the kit and like, there'll be a little bit of cleanup from some of the resin flashing and stuff, but it's not like sanding a jetpack. I have never sanded a 3D printed jetpack, and I never want to because that sounds absolutely horrendous. Anyway, I need to stop getting distracted and pull up my reference material that I need. I try to 3D print as little as possible because the original costume, of course, was made without 3D printing. So I would much rather get as accurate as I can in all regards. Yeah, the De Novo should be made the exact same way since they're also peak accuracy. Depending on what those bring those explosive things over, okay, when you come over, because I might be able to just quickly mold and cast a few. Like, so if you just get one that you like, because I have this special silicone stuff that like is you can use it multiple times. And I've only used it once or twice, but it's really fun. But if it's just a little tiny part, it's great to just be able to make a 1-time, 2-time mold. And that would save you a lot of time, but it depends on what it looks like. Okay, Jedi. I took an Adderall before I started streaming this time. It's helping me stay awake, but it's not helping me focus. Okay, so... Oh, the struggle. What is happening up here? Oh, my wife is calling. Hello? What's up? Well, you Hello. I very much enjoy having a stream deck now out here. Makes things much easier and faster. Okay. Reference material. Focusing. Yes. I will be wrapping up stream at about 9-ish, by the way. Okay. So we're gonna do. So you have to do, because there's really bad photos of the Jedi jetpack at the time. So what you do is you pull up the best photos you got, and then you pull up modern photos of the jetpack that were taken while it was on tour. And you look at the old photo and you find the speck of damage that you want to replicate. And then you go to the new photo for a better shape, size. And if it's white damage, like the base color of the jetpack coming through, or if it's silver, originally intended damage. It's a process. It is a fucking process. Generally, for the red area, there's not a lot of white damage because it was all, it's, you know, it's deep in the pack. And oh, look at that giant glaring tape error. Every time I look at this, I notice something different. You can tell Mario was in a hurry to paint this. And it looks like red was done over yellow, maybe. Oh yeah, red was definitely... No. Because that would... Not that it matters. I'm just curious. And that's the fix, so that's not... No, it's definitely red over yellow. Yeah, it's red over yellow. Would have been his. Because you've got like this kind, and then you've got really crisp lines of red with little oversprays of red where the tape wasn't all the way down. So he would have done red over yellow, which makes sense. He probably hit the entire pack in yellow mostly, aside from the sides. Anyway, I'm getting just... This is my obsession. I've legitimately... There'll be times where I'm bored and I just pull up pictures of Boba Fett and I'm like, let's try and guess how they did this. And then just work it out in my head for eons. Also, you have the overspray of red here, where he probably had an inch piece of tape going down there, and then... Anyway. Jetpack. Need just a really good shot of like the whole thing. Because that's silver, that's probably white, and that is shown on the old photos. I don't know why there does not appear to be... Oh look, RuneScape, haha. Yes, I AFK my number go up simulator while I stream. Gosh. ASOW has some better photos because they're at a... Yeah, see, that's all white going down the sides there. And then we have you, and we can see roughly that there was that damage there, but that damage wasn't there yet. Yeah, sure. I've been watching Spider Noir. I'm pretty sure that's white. I'm gonna double check. See if there's another photo of that bottom corner of the jetpack. Sometimes it's really hard to tell if the light isn't shining on it in the best way possible. Of exactly what. Oh, that's not what I wanted to open. Can I like? Oh, okay. No, not easily. Yeah. See, there's no great close up of that corner, but that looks really white. Like, you know, you can see where silver is shining. So I'm gonna go with that's white. And I'm gonna go with that's not on. Yeah, see there's maybe a dot there originally. And then we spray down silver. And then we There's a reason these jetpacks are very expensive to commission. Because I am an attention whore. I say as I'm on stream. For the details on this pack. Because I've spent way too long obsessing over it. Yeah, it's just because the jetpack was originally painted by Mario in '79, very quickly, shipped back to ILM, ended up not being used for Empire, so it got thrown around in storage where they didn't care, got brought back out of storage around '81, and was then presumably for Jedi, because the Empire jetpack was presumably gone by that point. So they took it out of storage, and took some photos of it sitting out for how it was basically as Mario sent it, and then started modifying it to hell for some reason. They were doing a whole bunch of stuff inside of the jetpack for pyro and special effects and things. Ultimately, none of that was ever used. And that's when they initially added one rivet. They added one rivet sometime early on. And then after all their modifications, they added the second rivet. And then you see these giant white scrapes going down the side where the paint had chipped off from them manhandling it so much, which they ended up fixing before filming. And I was the first one to confirm that because I'm the only one obsessing over that detail. They just sprayed blue over it real quick and easy. So you've got the original damage as Mario intended. You've got damage from it just sitting in the archives. You've got damage from them manhandling it and modifying it. Then you've got the damage from the paint chipping off and then them fixing it. And the entire thing, the paint is not, because it was originally a glossy white jetpack and it was not prepped properly because they did not give Mario enough time to do that. So the whole thing is just living on a freaking prayer. And then you've got a port in the bottom that fell out sometime during filming, but it's very unclear what actually plugged into that port because the only thing on the costume that required power to be plugged into was the chest display, and those have been confirmed to be running off B and C connectors up in this. So no one really knows what that connector went to. They also added a button to the bottom, probably something for the pyro inside, but it was all or whatever effects were inside. And then they made a stunt jetpack where the blue covers would hinge off. And so because I guess they thought that was going to be a continuity issue, that they had hinges running down the side, that on the hero pack, they put like rubber strips or styrene tubes on the side to make it look like it had hinges, despite the fact that all four of the jetpacks used in Jedi looked remarkably different from one another because two of them were painted at the same time, but with slightly different colors because Mario ran out. Another one was a stunt pack that was made a foam rubber pack that was made and painted by ILM that had completely different shades of colors. And then they had the one with the giant gash in it from where Luke originally slashed the back of the jetpack, but then that became Han. And so they've got that. Their big thing of continuity was, oh, but this one looks like it has hinges, despite everything else being so incredibly different. ILM is fucking weird. I love them, but they're all weird. Oh wait, I'm not spraying red yet. I'm spraying silver. I'm almost out of silver, at least in this bottle. And then to make my life easier, I tend to try and only spray silver where I'm actually going to mask. Originally, they would have sprayed the whole thing. However, paint does not like to stick to silver. My brain, okay, so my brain is a third Green Day facts, a third My Chemical Romance facts, and a third how they made the Boba Fett costume facts. That's pretty much it. I can talk for freaking, ask any of my friends. I can talk for hours on this freaking costume. It's ridiculous. I'm ridiculous. Anyway, I guess I could turn the camera down the thing while I'm running back and forth, spraying some silver down. When you come over, I have my display cabinet in the background is full of found parts of Boba. And if you want me, one of my friends came over for my 30th birthday, and I was already a few drinks in. And he came out to see how the shop had turned out because he had helped me with electricity. And he asked me like one little question about something in the cabinet. And then like I had my mother-in-law out here too. And I hadn't realized it, but I had already been talking for like an hour. And she was just like, we should probably go back inside and join the rest of the people. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah. So literally I can, if you want the autism info dump, just point at something in that display cabinet and go, what's that? And I will give you all of the details and all of the tangents and all of the everything, because I'm insane. Oh, okay. So yeah, we don't have any of that, but we do have this scraping. What camera am I on? I'm on this camera. Hi. Okay. I guess I should probably hit this with the... just to make sure. Can you tell I've been working on blue paint today? But I mixed up a whole giant bottle of what I think is the best color that I'm going to realistically get at this time for the blue. Because it's a real hard color to nail. It's unclear. Mario confirmed for us recently that he had some Humbrol and some Floquil paints when he was painting the jetpack. And he also was not bothering to clean out his airbrush necessarily because he was in a hurry, and like it was, you know, for his purposes it was essentially an original creation. He just had to make everything look damaged and quick. And so he was doing all of that. And at one point he ran out of the blue and started using a different blue. And so that's why all of his jetpacks don't exactly match, but also because he wasn't cleaning out his airbrush. you've got cross-contamination. He possibly, you know, was thinning all of the blue paint in the same cup. So it's, you know, you've got little bits and pieces of other colors in there. It's unclear the exact paint brand that he even used. And Flowquill had notoriously bad QA their entire existence. So the colors from one bottle to the next, even with the same name, would not necessarily be the same color. Like I have some bottles of Flowquill that are, you know, a decade or two apart, and you would not believe that they're the same color or supposed to be the same color. So I've been using an Archive X color that was pretty close. It was close enough, but they're going to discontinue that color. So I figured this was a fantastic opportunity for me to just find my own color and mix it, since I've never been 100% happy with that Archive X color, or really any color I found off the shelf. And so I did that. I mixed up, I did a lot of testing, and I mixed up this giant, this should last me a few jetpacks, this giant freaking bottle of blue. Gorgeous blue. And then once I get all of that, once it's all weathered and everything, it should look pretty good. That was a lot of talking. Jesus, that Adderall fucking hit. I only took a half. Airbrush cleaner. I gotta actually clean my airbrush here soon. It's a little gunky in there, but I'm not doing that tonight. I really don't want to. Oh, I need gloves on. Every time I think I don't need gloves on, I regret it, because then my hands just get covered in 60,000 different colors. Okay. Yoink. Normally I'd put down some of my favorite adhesion promoter over the silver, but it's such a small amount down in this little crevice that it won't matter. Is it raining? Oh no, that was just my air purifier kicking on. It's like, girl, what the hell are you doing? Wait, I think it might also be raining. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna let that red. The one thing I really don't like about acrylics is acrylics just don't cover like they covered. Like acrylics do not cover like lacquers did, and all that original Flowquill paint was lacquer. You put a single layer down and it is clean and it's even. Acrylics, if you thin it slightly wrong, you are it's not going to cover right, and you pretty much always have to do 2 coats of acrylic. Come on, airbrush. You don't need cleaning today. You don't need cleaning today. Oh, hello. Vallejo Model Air Silver worked out great. Heck yeah. Yeah, the Model Air stuff, love it. Model Air is specifically designed. My gripes with acrylics of only needing one coat, or not needing more than one coat, really go away with Model Air colors because they're, I guess they thin them just the scientifically perfect amount or whatever. But especially that Model Air Silver, it's gorgeous. It goes down so clean. Vallejo has just become the easiest paint brand to get now. So that's pretty much why I mainly use them. I used to use Humbrol almost exclusively, but then they just became harder and harder and harder. Yeah, Tamiya smells weird. I don't know what it is with Tamiya. They definitely put some different kind of thinner. I think that their paint is like alcohol-based acrylic, and I think that's why it has that extra smell. Which in theory means I think it should be more durable, but watermelon, that's a new one, I guess. Me debating if I should walk over there and huff some to me. Oh, just letting that red dry so I can put another coat on. Yeah, there's a lot of steps with the jetpack. A lot of obsessive little details. I'm doing Jedi. Oh god, SC is a whole other. I've painted one SE pack. That is a whole other beast to get right. Because it has substantially more paint naturally chipping off. So if you want to do it right, you paint the whole thing white like I'm already doing, but pretty much everything has tons and tons of white chipping. So you've got to mask off all of the white, all of that masking, and then spray on your silver, mask off all. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. At least with Jedi, it's mainly just white on like the high points. There's not just like random scratches on the surface. Oh. Does anyone in chat play RuneScape? Would come. Well, I am about to hit 200 million XP in fire making, which is the maximum amount of XP you can get. I play my games in the background. My AFK dopamine number go up simulator that I've been playing for 19 years now. Because yes, I am, in fact, insane. Absolutely insane. Well, there's a little bit of red overspray where I didn't want it, but I can just hit it again with white primer when I get to that point. So I'm not bothered. One of these days I'm gonna make like the most accurate Jedi jetpack. It's just gonna be for display. I'm not gonna ever troop with it. And I'm gonna sit there and obsess over every freaking scratch more so than would be realistic for a commission. Take forever doing it. And then I would also work as like a master artist reference. So I don't have to constantly look at reference material. I'll get there someday. Now that I have the jetpack molds, it'll be a bit easier because I also want to modify because the tubes tanks on the sides under the blue were actually just styrene tubes originally, and so I want to take one of the jetpack bodies, cut out the tubes, put in the correct styrene tubes, try and replicate whatever insides might be known, get all the accurate fittings for the base. Okay, that's, it's fine. Maybe I should have done yellow first, like Mario. That wet. It's fine. Now this will just have to dry before I do. That's the other thing is I gotta, because I'm replicating. If this was like Mario could just let this air dry really quick and then just tape over it and not care if something else pops up. But, I'm trying to replicate very specific circumstances. So I gotta make sure this is totally dry. Ugh. It's been a while since I painted a Jedi pack. Been a while. Mario also originally used Vaseline instead of traditional masking fluid. Well, the better order of operations probably would be, let's see here. I'm also kind of looking at his work to see. I think that Mario originally would have done blue, yellow, red. Just based on oversprays that I see and the way the paint lines up. As I think he would have done blue, yellow, red. The gray on the tubes is hard to say. It's entirely possible that he pulled the tubes out to paint them, since he would have been able to do that. But if not, they probably would have been painted first, I would guess. Because there's some really clean lines. Well, no, the left tube falls out and you can see that it doesn't have paint on it. So he would have painted them in there. Maybe removed them after painting them. But yeah, I would, so probably gray, basically the opposite of what I've just done. Gray, blue, yellow, red would be my best guess. Yeah, I like that. And the gray is also nice because you can spray over it very easily. So that would make sense for first color. Because then you really don't have to worry about masking anything. Because he would have just done silver over the whole thing to start off with. The tanks are quite a thing though. Let's see here. Do we have a better period photo of the tank? That tank I want. Not really. Pretty much that. The other thing is the caps spin around. They're not necessarily glued in in place. Ooh, dark teal and purple jetpack. Originally, the canisters don't really appear to have much white. It's probably just this here. That's silver. And probably a little bit up here. And the other side. Oh, of course, this image cuts off. You've got that deep gash, which should be silver. Or should be white, because it's not. Mario didn't put it there. So Mario didn't put the damage there. It theoretically should all be white. Because that means it's actually chipped down to the gel coat. So the lettering is about here. So that means we need the chipping about there. Come on. Oh. And then it's a little hard to tell, but probably some white up here. There definitely looks to have been some repair work done on the canisters as well by ILM. Oh my gosh, I cannot get the smallest. There we go. And I might as well be doing some of the white on the, or some of the chipping on the blue while I'm here. Really, the best way to do this would be to mask all of the white off first. It's such a freaking process to do so, though. Which is why I try to do it kind of more one color at a time. Because that is forgot how much work these are. I should probably trying to just think the most optimal way to do this as a replication, which I always try a different path every time. Ugh. Set that up there. So it would make the most sense to tape off and do the gray next. But I could also mask off all of the white, then do the silver, then mask off the silver, then spray the gray, then mask off the gray, and then spray the blue, and then mask off the blue. Do kind of two, because you can spray the blue over the gray just fine. But will it really matter in the end? Probably not. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Otto's over there snoring. The gauntlets are probably ready for their final weathering. I need to go step to the bathroom real quick. Yeah, I do a mix. I try and get the bigger chips I try and get the white chips as masked, as layered, because they look so much better, because white paint never really gives the right effect, because you have to get it on pretty thick to read as white chipping. But a lot of the little details with silver I will hand do, because it is significantly easier than sitting here and masking all of the silver. And with the little tiny chips and scratches, with the right brush and the right silver, it looks virtually identical. But the white is what I always try as much as possible to do layered. Okay, we can actually, I'm going to try and work on wrapping up while this is doing whatever it wants to do. Let's put it on my high-tech jetpack stand, aka pole. I need this stuff, this stuff, and it is 820. I'm gonna switch to droid cam. Well, I guess I can sit here. So when I have the helmet chest bits, if that's how you want to do it, for custom stuff, it is absolutely the best way to do it because you're not sitting there trying to get the smallest little detail. Put down your silver, masking fluid, Vaseline. I've heard some people use toothpaste or mustard or ketchup. Spray a adhesion promoter, I recommend, to keep your paint on, and then your next color, and then get rid of all that masking stuff, and then you have your chips. I also like the look of more than one color, even though that doesn't really make sense when you think about it. That if, you know, the color chips off, then there's another color under it, and then another, and then the silver. But that's how boba is, and I think it looks so much more as if, like, implying that I guess at some point the armor wear had a different color and then painted over it, and then so now you've got different weird chips going on. I think it just looks much more visually interesting. And then over once you're all done, spray random grays and greens and browns and things on to weather it. ESB. I need my gauntlet wrap. Not that there's, like, you can tell that they washed it, but how much they washed it and exactly where is hard to tell. I want to do an armor one day. I love my costumes beat to fucking hell. Like when I do a custom thing, I just keep looking over at my 2 custom chest plates I have sitting up. I like making them look like they're beat absolute to hell. Which is not everybody's cup of tea, but I like ridiculous amounts of weathering. I've been working on my custom for like 7 years now. So, you know, it's whatever. Train of thought is gone. There it is. And run script. Where's the thing I'm looking for? Dang it. It's gone. There it is. Yoink. Seven, 3, 26. Hooray, one more down. All right. Oh, gosh darn it. Brain. That's fine. What a camera mom. On that camera, that's fine. Da, 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 da. All right. Doing something real quick, and then I will get back to it. Blah, 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 blah. Right, gotta do that, gotta do that, gotta click that, gotta click here, gotta do that, and that, and that. Okay, so now we're gonna switch to this, and we're gonna give the gauntlets their wash. Because that's what they did for some reason, only on the Empire gauntlets. Because whoever painted Empire did not have the same ways of doing things as Joe, who painted the rest of the costume. So I'm just taking this burnt umber wash, and then you just kind of brush it on almost with a paper towel. Try to make sure you don't get any streaks. And it just makes the whole thing look a little dirtier. And I'm trying to pay attention to reference material because there's some very clear places in which they put this raw umber and some places where they clearly didn't. But it's kind of more of just they just kind of haphazardly threw it on. And then the other gauntlet really doesn't have a ton of it. So I'm going to put it on, but I'm going to mostly take it all off. Because if it does have it, it is... They probably did that gauntlet first and then just didn't get more wash and then started to hit this gauntlet. So there wasn't a lot left. They were probably doing a lot of weathering at the time because they also did this to the jetpack. And that just kind of kicks the green back a little bit, make it a little bit dirtier. And then now we do the giant gray scrape because partially through filming, the assumption is that the E3 scraped up on the gauntlet and chipped off a bunch of plastic or a bunch of paint. And I guess all they had on set was Lark Dark Gray, and they just quickly painted it on right over top with a giant gash. Because it's definitely the same set of gauntlets because everything else matches. It's just, there's just randomly a giant gray scratch on it. And, you know, it works. It visually... Most people probably didn't notice it, especially with his limited screen time. And it's still a gray that is used on the costume and the gauntlets, so... Because the scrape did happen about where Jeremy tends to hold the blaster, so... Or this giant gray patch is where Jeremy tends to rest the blaster. So the assumption is that he just scraped off a big old thing of paint. And it's also on the glove, as if they were like, he scraped it off and they're like mid-shoot, and someone just runs in with some gray paint and just very quickly splashes it on and it gets on his glove. Which is also very funny to me. Yeah, it's basically that. I always just do it by hand. And then there's a few extra little bits of white on the edge where it had, I guess, chipped off again. While they were waiting for it to dry or something. But I guess they just probably didn't want a giant white scrape. Technically, no scrape is also accurate because it was shown. But the vast majority of people, because the majority of the shots with Empire have the gray patch. So that's kind of the default. But technically both are right. Both are screen accurate. Where's my water? I think this is water over here. Probably. Okay. Now we can work on the flamethrower. Let me make sure that this dries nicely, though. And I also... Oh, there's a shot in the carbonite chamber where the gauntlet comes undone, and you can see that they painted it closed. So the Velcro and everything remains white and the undershell. So I always make sure to paint it like that too. So when you undo it, you just have that big white Velcro. And then when it comes together all nice and you hide the Velcro. I guess I should actually hit these with clear because he did want clear. And it would make sense to do that first and then let that dry before messing with the flamethrower. Otherwise, the flamethrower will just get clear on it, and I don't want that. Because it already has what it needs. So let's grab satin mat. Oh, I already have a mat with the correct cap on it too. Yoink. I guess I don't need the wire right now. I got a pretty good seal all of that in. I never think ahead. Try and get a way to hold these. One of these days, I'm going to make a stand specifically for gauntlet painting that will just hold them very securely and expose all angles of the gauntlet. I just still have not gotten around to that after all this time, which is, you know, me. Okay, very good. Now clear coat, just because it looks dry does not mean that it is dry. Because it like kind of starts to mess with the paint underneath. So if you are planning on handling something that you just clear coated, don't. Just give it plenty of time to dry. Otherwise, you'll mess up your paint. So now that needs Alco switches. Oh my God. Alco, rocket, flamethrower, and I think that's it. Clear coat is nerve-wracking. Always afraid it's going to go wrong, but that's why I made that reel about my favorite clear coat, and I'm going to be doing more. Because that stuff way better. All right, turn that off. That's going full blast. Close out of that. And turn you back. Woo! What to do? I got about 20 minutes before I'm gonna close up. Hi, Autumn, man. Oh, you blew your coat out. She was shedding real bad. We kept brushing her, and it just kept coming. And now her back is, you can very clearly tell there's a difference where we brush her. I don't think we did any damage. Like, she was shedding it out. It was going to fall out. But her fur feels very different now because I think it's only one coat or less of a coat or something. I don't know. Mama's little girl, you are. Mama's little girl. Do you want to be on TV, Otto? He said, wait, no, I don't want to be on TV. There's little Otto. And Mama's little girl. Hello. Come here. Blah. Dance for the people. Dance for the people. Yeah. You're such a sweetheart. You're such a sweetheart. Yes, you are. Oh, yes. She had a litter. Well, she had 2 litters before we got her, at least 2. And so she's got Mama Pouch. And then she's gained weight recently too. So she's a little chunky monkey now. She's Mama's little chunky monkey. She's on a diet. She's not happy about it. She's not happy about it. Isn't that right, honey? You're gonna stay in here, honey bun. I don't want you going out right now. They have doggy doors, so they just come in and out as they please, usually. But Maddie's got her dinner out in the kitchen, so I don't want her going inside. Just trying to nab some of Maddie's dinner. She's rescued too, but she didn't really have an issue with, like, we've had her for 2 years now, and she was always the right weight, and something about this last few months, she's just decided that actually she wants to eat everything. Yeah, that makes sense. Poor guy. Poor little baby. Poor little baby. Yeah, she just turned 8, so she's getting up there. She is getting up there. Little junkie Otto. Yes, you are. I just put some self-etching primer down on the metal bits that will get paint. Helps it stick better. I guess I'll just leave the jetpack where it's at for now. I don't want to mess with the gauntlets yet. I can close that up. Need to get some more gloves down from my backstock. Excuse me, honey. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I needed to do my other orders. I've got a lot of orders I need to. Yes, that's what I need to do. Let me see how my earring racks have come along in the drying rack. And ship out some stuff. Hopefully I can still schedule USPS. No, USPS is going to be closed tomorrow, so that's going to be like Monday. It's probably the soonest that they're going to be able to get out. Let's see how these look. They're still a little wet. So I guess I will leave those. Or I could put another coat on at least one of them. Oh, they're not wet. They just have that look. Because they dried funny. So I'm going to grab 2, grab the camera, bring it over here. Turn on the filter. It's getting a little rough in here. Oh, I have it right sitting out. I made that. That's all. I designed the 3D files, and I have them on Thingiverse somewhere. But I designed all of the holders because I couldn't find holders that worked for my purposes. In hindsight, I should have made a little extra clip-on cup or made them longer or something. But they were originally on a pegboard, and so they were designed to screw through the pegboard. But yeah, because I could never find them that fit Archive X. So I designed that, and then I'm like, well, I might as well design one for all my Vallejos. And then this opens up to then have spray paint. And then I have more spray paint down below and more paint down there because I have an obsession with paint. I have spent, I mean, this is also the cumulative years of figuring out the best way to store all kinds of things, but I also have been a very organized person my entire life. That is definitely a way that the autism has shown my entire life. I like knowing where all of my things are, and I like storing them as efficiently as possible. For the spray cans, it is a retail grid rack, which you can often find on Facebook Marketplace of like businesses going out of business. Just 2 of those bolted into a wooden rectangle, and spray cans just fit perfectly in the holes. And then I just have a door on a hinge and a magnet. Because I didn't really, in this shop, I couldn't really, I don't have enough room to justify. In my previous main shop, I had a little bit more space, and so I had the Jesus Christ, the hobby paints on the wall, and then had an even taller grid rack set up, and that was not feasible in this location, which is fine. I am trying to not really use spray paint anymore anyway. Most of those cans are incredibly old. In a perfect world, I would really only use spray paint for a few things. Yeah, I really like this is a lot more me, being able to design it start to finish to the maximum that my budget allowed, and then make all kinds of new drawers and things to try and perfectly fit in. I have so many more ideas of things I want to do. Like, I'm not necessarily happy with how back here is set up. I want to put the drill press on a much wider table back there with more storage underneath. I need to reevaluate the router table that's living under the sanding table that pulls out. I built that table at my old shop that was originally an electronics cart and then got turned into the router table cart. It's a little bit too wide for this setup, and it could just be better. And I'm still kind of deciding on general storage back here and things. And I don't really like how tight together all of the belt sanders are, because I have 3. I don't really need 3, but one of them was free. So I might end up taking one of them back to the other shop, because I do still go there sometimes for like vacuum forming. This space works out much better for day-to-day operations. Even though was way more expensive. Just got to let this kind of sit on here for a minute. Oh, it's already starting to dry. Look at that. And then you wipe it off along with the grain. And hopefully it won't look like crap tomorrow. Is the goal. Because it did have some weird sheen to it. And I have 2 more in here, which I'm just going to kind of rub the extra from this on here. This is kind of the test one anyway. Okay, so that's all going to dry overnight again. Hopefully that air filter above me is not too loud. Pretty loud to me, even on the lowest setting, but oh, cool. I'm always amazed by the noise cancellation of this microphone. Okay, well, let me hop on Etsy and see what I need to ship, or what I can get ready, I guess, for the next couple minutes. Let's see here, Etsy. Not you, other account. Sorcery and Sundries. Yeah, I know, Etsy, I have an overdue order. Leave me alone. Okay. You import. Don't have a printer. QR. I don't care. I have a printer. Come on. As it thinks real hard. This table's heavy. I also want to make a new workbench. This workbench has been with me a very long time, but it the understorage is very not utilized well. And I would like to be able to, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to put under it, but I feel like there's a better way to use that space. Especially for times like this where like it could be a stream backdrop of some sort. I don't know what, cover the back with stickers or armor or something. But what size are you? 9 by 7. You're a bubble envelope. You're 9 by 7. You're 0 pounds. And you're 2 ounces. And this will be shipping out on Monday. And oh, I actually don't have a whole lot that I can send out. I thought I did. That's fine. Well, once I pack these 2 things up, I will be closing shop for the night. Go inside and watch Spider in the Water with my wife. And probably get a little drunk because it's Friday and I don't give a shit. Also, I took an Adderall. I don't usually take Adderall in the evening because it tends to keep me up, but it's been a very long time. I've been on Adderall for a little while now, so I'm starting to get more used to it. So I'm hoping I'm not, but with my luck, I'm still going to be up pretty late anyway. But I got 2 pronoun pins to send out from my Etsy, from my other Etsy. Let's see. And get Steve. Yeah, pretty much. $11 to send these 2. Shipping is. I found out that my label printer, so the way I have my desk set up is it's on 2x3s. And I realized that in my L shape here, my label printer basically is the exact width of the gap in between 2 of the 2x3s. So instead of, I used to have it like way up high on a shelf, but now it just hides under my desk. And then all of the labels just come out right to my side. It's real handy. Jesus Christ, 250, I would lose my mind, actually. Use Pirate Ship. It's so nice and cheaper. What else do I have? A black, a purple, and that could probably ship out. But I don't have it out here with me, so I don't care. Okay. Oh, here's a fun little story. So, I'm currently, hold on. I gotta switch out some clamps for this story. So I got, oh no, I've lost my other, here we go. Got it. Crisis averted. I got these clamps a really long time ago. I have 2 of them, and I really like them because they auto lock as you close. So you can really squeeze down on something, but it is incremented in a way that you can't really crush anything. It just gives a really solid grip. And I was wondering if I could get any more of these because I really like them. But I got them a really long time ago. All I remember is they were Irwin clamps. And so I did some Googling and I found that you still can get them. And that they were all, they were around $7 a pop or so. But then I found this one website that had 8 left in stock for $4 a pop. And I'm like, well, if they only have a few left in stock, then maybe they're just trying to clear out old stock or something. So I bought all 8. Apparently they make it in different sizes. So now he has a little baby. Still incredibly useful to me. Because most of the time, everything I'm clamping with these, it would fit in a small one. But I was just like, oh, okay. They make small ones apparently too. So now I have 8 little babies and two parents, I guess. But yeah, they are also I don't know if the microphone will pick it up, but I've very clearly significantly worn down the teeth on these of like when I close this one versus, I don't know if that picks up, but there is a very big difference in sound when you close them for the little mechanism that's in there. So I very clearly use these a lot. But I really like them. They're Irwin quick grips. And they apparently come an 1.5 inches and 2 inches. The functioning Jedi. So for the topper, the topper I don't sell. My servo kits come with wires for the topper. I don't sell a self-contained unit. JC27, I think, on the dented helmet was making those for years, and for the price, it didn't seem like something that I needed to try and get in on the market on. And now there's tons of people who do the fully contained toppers. Plus, I find the one that actually triggers when the rangefinder's down, which in my case with the servo is all software based. I find those to be better anyway, because then when you tilt the helmet, they don't turn on. Chest display, a gauntlet LED. Yes, I tracked down. I can sell one. I normally don't sell them individually, meaning that I just don't have them on my website. But I'm more than happy to let one go. I tracked these down. They are as close. I did a lot of research on these to both find one that looked visually as close as possible and also could be powered off a battery, because these are pilot lights, and the majority of pilot lights are meant to be put in 120 or 120 or 240 volt circuit. So finding one that would work on like 6 volts was also hard. So I ended up having to bulk buy these from some company that I don't remember. I think I had to buy like 50 of them. And that was years ago, and I'm still going through the batch. So yes, I can sell these, and I can hook them up to a battery if you want. But yeah, that was another victim of the obsession, was trying to find something that had the right shape. Because the original one definitely was just some random pilot light that they popped off some machine or something, or went down to Radio Shack and got. And, you know, finding the exact same one with the exact same shape and everything in modern times is, because they're all LEDs now and stuff. So chest displays I'm also working on getting into. That's going to be another long-term project. I really want to make a chest display that has a switch on the back, a really compact chest display that has a switch to accurate digital versions of the sequences, because the originals were just rat's nest of wires, of them just plugging wires in randomly to make it just flash. But if I can nail that timing down digitally with software, and then just put a switch on the back to switch between the different versions. Price probably a few bucks. Shipping is gonna, like, I guess I could probably just put stamps on that and just not track it, but it might be one of those things that's just like, if you need something else from me, it might be worth getting a bunch of stuff at once because of shipping. I don't remember what I originally paid for those. I'm sure I can find it somewhere, but I can't imagine it was more than $5 a light. Let's see if I can find my lamp. Okay, what about making rebuy? Where is it? Reorder supplies. Gauntlet light. Did I bookmark it? Was I smart back then? Gauntlet light. No. Red. Well, I know there's 6 volt, so maybe if I search 6 volt. Well, shoot. I have no idea what I originally paid for them, but I can't imagine it was more than $5, so let's just call it $5 for a light. Because bookmarks, Search bookmarks. Gauntlet. Oh, is this it? New arc. Okay. Well, now they're going for more than $5. Let's see if I can find the original order. Not in that. What about in this email box? Haha! What did I originally... Damn! They've more than doubled in price since I bought 30. I had to buy 30. Okay. Yeah, $5 is fine. That's cheaper than you can buy it now. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna call it there. Start getting my dog inside and everything, and thank you all for joining me. I'm glad I got a little audience tonight. I very much enjoy talking to myself less. I always talk to myself anyway, but it's nice when my computer responds to me with various voices. Anyway, see you. I don't think I have anything going on next Friday. Yeah, I should be good to go next Friday unless I get sick again with something. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Let's blah.